Hey travel friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Anna, and today I'm going to be talking about how to choose the best Mount Kilimanjaro tour company for you. I decided to dedicate an entire video to this because choosing the wrong company can literally ruin your chances of summiting. And in this video, I'm going to break down, first of all, why is this important, the things I look for when I vet a company as a travel advisor, and all the red flags to avoid. So by the end of this video, with this information, hopefully you'll be able to find the best company for you to do this bucket list hike. But if you want to skip all of the hours of research and take advantage of planning services from someone who has personally done this hike, I would be more than happy to help. If you didn't know already, I am a travel advisor, and what this means for you is that I can help you find the best company for your wants and needs, choose a route to go up the mountain, help you prep and plan for all of the packing that goes into this trip, and help you prep training-wise, because you can only research so much, but once you actually have gone on the hike and have all of that first-hand experience like I do, I'm confident that I can have you fully prepared for this hike. I would love to chat at my email, annarichter@fora.travel, and help you figure out which of the many options available is best for you. But now let's get into it. Starting with why this matters. Choosing the right company is extremely important because there are so many variables that go into this trip and a very large range of companies and the service level that they provide. The biggest impact on your trip that your company will have pertain to safety, summit success, food, accommodation quality, your guide crew, group size, and honestly your overall experience because you're going to be with this crew the entire hike. From my time on the mountain, the biggest lesson was that not all companies are equal. Sure, all of them will get you up and down the mountain and hopefully safely, but the service level of all of the companies can vary drastically. And that doesn't always mean that you have to pay more to get a higher level of service. Sure, more luxury companies will have more comfortable amenities and things like that, but even for a more affordable company, you can still have a very high level of service. So obviously your company affects everything when it comes to your hike, and choosing the wrong company can be detrimental to your chance at summiting. Now I'm going to talk about the key things that I look for when I'm vetting a company. The first thing that I look for when vetting a company, specifically for hiking Kilimanjaro, are the routes. Do they have routes that give you more time on the mountain and appropriate acclimatization time? That is a very important factor. If the company only has super short routes that have poor acclimatization and a lower success rate, but claim to have very high success rates, that is a red flag. The company should be offering routes 6 days and up, with the sweet spot being 7 to 8 days. With longer routes come higher summit success rates because you have more time to acclimatize on the mountain. So if I see that a company is only providing super short hikes at a very cheap cost, that is a big red flag. I would assume that safety is not at their top priority. Neither is your summit success. So the second thing that I look for when vetting a company is the guide experience and the ratio of guides to hikers. So I usually look for how many guides they allot per climber, and do those guides have medical training? Obviously, the second one is a big safety factor, and any company that's allowing guides that don't have medical training shouldn't be allowed to operate. This should be made very clear on their website, and if safety isn't made clear that it's their number one priority, then I would start to be very, very suspicious of that company and wouldn't recommend them. As far as guides per climber, I know that the company I went with, G Adventures, has 1 guide per 2 climbers, and this is a very typical ratio, so any company that's doing less than that, I would be putting a yellow flag. Porters as well. You should be having at least 2 porters per climber, so it's the opposite of the guide ratio. 2 porters per climber is pretty standard, in that someone's going to be carrying a tent, and then someone's going to be carrying your bag, and then obviously they need extra porters for the food, the mess tent, etc. So having the right ratio for your crew really greatly affects your trip. And that brings us to the third thing that I'm looking for, which is porter and guide treatment, which was a huge thing that I was looking for when vetting a company. Obviously, ethical treatment really, really matters when it comes to a job like this, something that's so physically demanding. It's very easy to cross the line and demand too much of someone, which can endanger their health and so many other things. No one should be taken advantage of point blank. So ethical treatment of these hardworking men and women on the mountain really, really matters. Reputable companies will have a KPAP certification, meaning that they are part of the Kilimanjaro Porter Assistance Project and ensure fair wages are paid to their porters and guides. So I would absolutely not book with that company if it is not part of that program, because being part of that program guarantees that they are treating their porters ethically. And all the companies that have signed on to that, it is an automatic green flag. And I know that they're doing what they should and treating their employees with the respect and dignity that they deserve, and also giving them a fair wage for this absolutely impossible job. I don't know how the porters do it. I got to know a bunch of them during my hike, and I could not believe how often they are going up and down this mountain, and we were struggling to do it once, not even carrying anything heavy when that's literally their job. In my review, I explained further really what porters do and why they're so important in this experience. So if you want to hear more about that, head to that video. This is one of the most important factors that I look for when vetting a company. The fourth thing I look for are safety protocols, making sure that the guide has medical training, that there are oxygen tanks available if needed, daily health checks to make sure everyone is still healthy and able to keep going. These are all things that you need to consider when choosing a company for a hike like this. A company doing all of these things gets a green flag. If they're missing any of this and you can't find evidence and it's not written anywhere that they have these safety protocols in place, then that is a big red flag, because your safety has to be number one priority, right? Altitude is a silent killer. It can really sneak up on you, and if things start going left, your crew needs to have the experience and the knowledge to know when to take you down and be able to assess the situation and provide what you need at the time. On Kilimanjaro, there are lives on the line. When we were hiking back down, one of my guides told me all the horror stories that he's gone through with people who didn't disclose medical situations and then had horrible reactions on the mountain as they went up in altitude, or medical emergencies like seizures that have happened, and they have had to be able to respond and have literally saved lives. This hike is no joke. I don't want to scare anybody, but safety and your health is nothing to mess around with. So the last thing that I look for when vetting a company are reviews that specifically mention summit success. Not just reviews that are saying, oh, the trip was good, I saw a lot, wow, it was a good hike. Like, I want them to specifically say, I summited, love this company, I summited. Like, I want proof from these people that they reached the summit. And sure, there are lots of situations where people don't reach the summit, and it's not the company's fault. Tons of things can happen completely out of the hiker and the company's control to prevent summit, but the proof is in the pudding, and I want to see the proof, and the pudding better taste good. But basically, I'm just looking for authentic reviews that really expand on their experience and aren't just a single sentence. I think that's what people do going through reviews in general when vetting a company, seeing if it's legit, but I want to see those passionate people who are writing those paragraphs about their summit success, that they had amazing porters and guides, and that they're thankful for the company, because obviously that's the ideal experience that anyone would want to have. So the more reviews saying that, the better. Going off of the red flags that I just talked about, here are some red flags that you absolutely need to avoid if you see them. The first one being if prices seem too cheap. Going up and down that mountain is expensive. Quality Kilimanjaro tours start at around $2,500 and go up to $5,000 or $10,000 if you're doing luxury. Anything under $2,000, I would be very suspicious, because abnormally low prices can mean that they're cutting corners on safety, your food quality, or your porter's wages. If you see prices that are below $1,000 right off the bat, it's a red flag, because it is just not feasible possible to pay all of the crew that you would need, the national park fee, for all of the gear that they're going to be including, all of the food. So if costs seem way too good to be true, it probably is. Another red flag that I would absolutely not accept are itineraries that seem too broad or vague. If the company is not giving you an explicit day-by-day breakdown or really explaining the route, it is a red flag. Most companies have a collection of very similar routes because there are only so many on the mountain, but because they are so predictable, the company should have a very detailed itinerary of what you'll be doing every single day. Your hiking time, the elevation gain, basic things like that, they should know. So if it doesn't have a day-by-day breakdown, that is a big red flag. The third red flag, as I kind of touched on previously, is no mention of safety or altitude protocols. If they don't have anything on their website talking about how they'll respond in case of an emergency, that's a massive red flag. Any reputable company should have that and should definitely be sharing how they'll respond in emergency, so you know that you're in safe hands. So if I were doing all of this research all over again, I would definitely check for all of those key factors when going through all of the companies, and personally prioritizing safety above all. I would then prioritize evidence of summit success and evidence of their acclimatization in their routes. And if they have the elevation gain listed in their day-by-day breakdown, then you'll be able to tell whether it's good or poor acclimatization within their routes. Because there are so many camps on the mountain, even the same machame 6-day in one company can be very different from a machame machame 6-day with a different company. So getting that day-by-day breakdown is very, very important. And obviously cost and comfort are something to prioritize too. When looking through companies, comfort can definitely vary widely. So double and triple check what companies will include in their price versus what you're going to have to either pay extra for or something that's not included at all. I'm talking about the bathroom situation mostly, as well as the camping, because there are definitely different inclusions and exclusions depending on the company when it comes to that aspect, which can greatly affect your comfort during the hike. I will say though, I feel like I got the best overall experience when it comes to all of these factors, because while I certainly was not on a luxury hike, I felt incredibly safe with G Adventures and knew that that was their top priority. I was also pretty comfortable, more comfortable than I was expecting. Even with the whole camping situation, I do not camp regularly, so that was a big change for me, but they made it as comfortable as possible and even brought us warm drinks in the morning to wake up, and they handled pretty much 100% of camping because we didn't have to break down tents or anything like that. And cost is definitely an important factor, but I would say wait to do this until you can pay for the experience that you want, because hiking Mount Kilimanjaro is most likely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You don't want to cut costs and cut comfort and then end up not making it to the summit when you could have waited a year or two, had the money to get the extra comfort, and then that would have improved your chance at summiting. So that's definitely a tip I give people. Wait until you are ready financially, mentally, and physically to complete this hike. When it comes to picking the best company for you, there is just an overwhelming amount of company options out there. Hopefully these tips will help you narrow down the massive pool, but as a travel advisor, I have found the best of the best out there and would be more than happy to share that with you. If you are interested in this hike and want some help planning your trip, I do have a Mount Kilimanjaro planning form in the description, and it just has a few quick questions for me to get to know a little bit more about what you're looking for in your Mount Kilimanjaro hike, and I'd be more than happy to help you find the right company for you that fits your climbing style, your budget, and all of your hiking needs. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, or you can message me on Instagram, Anna Richter, and I would be more than happy to help you reach your goal of summiting Mount Kilimanjaro. It was an absolutely surreal experience, and choosing the right company to go with, definitely the first big step in making this dream a reality. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped break down a little bit more about what you should be looking for in your Mount Kilimanjaro tour company, but if you need extra help, please email me at annarichter.forrotravel and we can find the best company for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.